We're back! Hey folks, welcome to A&F Live. Feels like it's been a year because I think it has been a year.
Wow, fast.
Hey, I'm Ramy Antoun. I'm here with my man Rob Andre. I can't see you guys, but Rob can, and so he's gonna kind of keep us connected. So all throughout our session today, if you have any questions or comments, just type them in below. Rob will speak them out loud, and we'll try and answer and respond as quickly as we can. So excited to be with you guys again. It's been one heck of a season of life, hasn't it? But I hope all of you are well and healthy. And yeah, we're here. We're going to talk about some new stuff. We're going to talk about some new gear, new gadgets. And some things are going to be releasing literally this week. Others July 1st, and we'll talk about all that. And we will give you guys a little bit of an update on the company, the craziness that we've been through, which I'm sure most of you have in your own lives, but also experiencing it with other companies as well. And some of the ways we've grown through it. So some of the curses have turned out to be blessings, and we'll talk about that as well. But anyway, welcome again, A&F Live. It is June 1st, 2022.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on that, Rob?
New beginnings. That's
beginnings.
exciting. Let's focus on that, and that's all you can really do. And that we're doing this again, and that we're, a little more comfortable, a little more relaxed, and got a lot of fun stuff to be excited about. So, what else could you ask for?
Awesome. Well, I say we kick right in.
Yeah.
Because I want to value your time and be efficient. So we haven't really released this before, and I'm not sure why. I think it's always been sitting right in front of us. But on Friday, we will officially release the Wood Root Boy series. That's the 3 drums you're seeing in front of you here. This is a great thing because when we make our wood shells, we're usually making cylinders, and then we'll cut them down to size for toms and snares and stuff. And we always have extra shell, and we waste nothing at A&F. We really don't. We don't waste anything. And so we, took a look around the shop. We're trying to figure out things we have in stock, materials we have in stock, because as you know, this industry, everything is hard to get.
Yeah.
Raw wood, raw metal, it's been crazy, the lead time, which of course extends to all of you waiting on your drums. So we've been in this mindset for the last 8 months of what do we have here that we can create, that we can get behind, that we can test. And so we've been prototyping these 3 dudes for about 4 months now, banging the snot out of them and trying different things with them. And they're tried and true, tested, ready to rock. So this is our Wood Rude Boy series, releasing Friday. What we have on this side, these are maple club shells, so the maple poplar shells like our kits and other wood snares. And it's just a clear finish, so you can see the grain. By the way, all Rude Boy snares are 3-inch standard depth. So it's 3-inch, it's a 6-lug drum. Whether it's this is a 12 we got right here, this is a 13. We're also going to be making the 10 at some point. And then this is a limited edition Rude Boy. It is our teak shell. So the same shell that we use for our teak drums, for the Chandler series, and it's got a whiskey stain. And then we've also added an internal snare throw off for it. And what's cool about the internals on Rude Boys is that you can turn it towards the top head, right here, or you can turn it towards the bottom head, right here. So it actually gives you a couple of, a few different sounds. And I'm going to play all these in a second.
And that's in addition to the regular throw off and snare wires.
Yes, so you got the regular snare and throw, and then you got a second one on these limited edition.
Yeah.
So let's mess with these for a second. So that's the 12, snares on, snares off. You can definitely take it higher. You can bring it down lower. It's tons of fun. If you've played the Metal Rude Boys or you've heard the Metal Rude Boys, these are going to play a little drier.
Yeah.
But you can definitely hear the wood. It's a variation on what we normally do, and that was one of the reasons why we wanted to test it, so it just didn't sound like another Rude Boy.
Right.
It actually has its own tone and character to it. Let's hit the 13 for a second. So you can lay into them, hit as hard as you can. They won't choke, which is something I love about these shells and the hardware, especially the brass. It really helps the drum keeps the drum from choking, and you can play soft and sensitive. And again, you can tune up, you can tune down. If you want to hear a specific tuning, just type it in, and we'll mess with it, here live. But those are the two natural, and those are the club series, so the club maple versions. And then we've got the teak. I'm going to do the teak snares off, and then I'll do the internal top, internal bottom, and then I'll turn it all on so we can kind of hear it. So this will be snares up, touching the top head, internal snares. And let's put the snares now, the internal snares on the bottom. So that's cool because it allows it to ring, but you still get that dry snare sound, which is kind of interesting. And then let's do the regular snares on. We'll keep this on the bottom so you can hear that, and then we'll move it to the top. Now we'll move the internal to the top, which will dry out that ring, but still give you both snares. That's the Rude Boys. Wood Rude Boys. We're releasing Friday.
And teak is going to probably be a little drier, right?
Yeah, it does end up, it's a little more focused, as you can tell, like between the three.
Yeah.
Here, these are the same size, so I'll just go back and forth on these just so you can hear them without the snares and then on the snares, and then snares on. For my ears, this sounds a little more open, and this is a little more focused.
Yeah.
little drier. Any questions so far?
Not as of yet. I just
Okay.
want to make sure that I'm getting messages, but not as of yet.
Awesome. Well, should we move on to the next
Sure.
best thing? No. All right. So I am always looking for easier transportation for drums. Easier on my back, easier on everything on my physical body. I'm getting older. I've had 2 hernia operations. I know what it's like to carry drums my whole life, and they just never seem to get lighter until now. So we've been messing with the idea of trying to make the lightest drums possible that still carry full tonal characteristics of what we do. So they're still warm, they still play well, tune well, they're still durable, just lighter. And this one took a while. You know, I would say one of the benefits of the craziness of COVID and kind of being locked in for long periods of time is just spending time creating and testing. And so we spent a lot of time on this, but we've nailed it, I think, at least for us. We're really excited about this. What you're looking at here, this main snare and this bass drum, these are our new Featherweight series. Extremely light, like scary light. Still sound warm and dark and have great tuning range. I'll play them for you in a second. But basically, we found a special kind of aluminum that will actually allow for us to treat like our brass and copper and bronze. So it's a real patina on aluminum. And again, we don't control our patinas. We let Mother Nature do her thing. With this specifically, we've discovered that time in our patina solution actually darkens. So, and it happens pretty quick. And so as you'll see, the shells of the bass drum and the snare are lighter because we left those in the patina solution a shorter amount of time than the lugs and tubes. But all of these components are aluminum. It's just a certain kind of aluminum that we tested. And so take a listen real quick. Check it out. I've got a 4x14 snare with 8 lugs and a 10x24. Is this 8 lug or 1, 2, 3, 4? 10 lug. 10x24, 10 lug kick. These are all prototypes. But these we will be releasing the whole kit with racks and floors and everything on July 1st. So we just thought we'd share with you now and kind of let you into the final stages of our process. So take a listen. So that's wide open. I'll pull this back. And we got the snare.
Big sound.
Yeah, I'm not missing anything on these drums, and I really worried about. I kicked that with my foot. I really worried about getting that kind of tone out of such light shells, but as you can see.
Yeah.
So that's our Featherweight series. For some of you guys, you know, that means nothing because you're young and you've got tons of years. But I will say, if you start now protecting your back, it's really going to help you in the future.
We have one question. Aphex Triplet asks, do you basically prefer ringy sound?
That's a great question. What I try and do here when showing you guys, you know, stuff that we're introducing or playing is not put any muffling on. We do a little bit on the bass drum so it doesn't rattle your subs at home.
Yeah.
With this, but you can see what we do here. But normally, when we're showing stuff and testing stuff, we don't put any muffling on, because we know you probably want to hear the drums wide open, and then you can always dampen sound. It's always hard to add resonance into a drum after the fact. I don't know if that answers the question. Hope that helps.
Kevin Hoover says, no questions, just enjoying the presentation thing.
Sweet.
Unfortunately, I'm not getting them right now, so.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Something's up.
Well,
Mark Straub says, I've got a brass 13x3 Rude Boy and love it. Do you guys make the snare wires in-house or are they third party?
good question. So some things we can't, well, in-house is changing quickly, right? Because our in-house was, so every time we build a new shop, for those of you that don't know, back in 2019, we built a new shop, bigger, moved in, and we're like, wow, this is huge.
Yeah.
And within the course of about a year and a half, we're like, wow, this is really small.
Yeah.
And so we just recently purchased a bigger property with a bigger shop on it. And so now we're continuing to expand our manufacturing. That said, when you've outgrown your space and you continue to grow as a company and there's more things to make, you start to look for local partners, people that are manufacturing locally, that know, how to do things sometimes even better than us, which is great most of the time, because these are machine shops and wood shops that have been in the business for 25 or 30 years, and they're here in Texas. We drive to these shops, and so we started asking for help from our big brothers. And so we've had all these shops throughout Austin helping us make certain things. And so in-house for us is this community of builders right here in Austin, in Texas, with us, that help us make our stuff because we literally don't have the space right now. And so that's why we just bought this property. We hope to be expanding our manufacturing shop into this new property, which will give us about 4 times as much space. And but I think there's something great, and it has been. It's been really, really refreshing and fun to work with veterans in manufacturing that have been doing this kind of stuff for many years before us, and learning from them, and then helping them understand how to specialize what they do, for our specific parts. So we make our own wires. We make everything on these drums except for the tension rods, the clips, and the throw-off, the main throw-offs. Those are provided by Rondonette. He had acquired and brought back the George Way drums and throws, and I love these throws, so we've stuck with it. But everything else we make, the wood, the metal, all of it. So it's a great question, and I'm glad you're enjoying your Rude Boy.
Mogan Cornbert says, "Hi guys, beautiful drums as always, big sound, love."
Good to see you, Mogan.
Mogan.
We'll be here in person soon, man. We are going to do something really cool this summer with a bunch of our artists, Mogan being one of them, and we'll have to share more about that at the next A&F Live because that's still in the works.
Yeah.
Kevin Hoover says, "Please do a shop tour once you're all moved into the new place."
We will. We'll do a shop tour because we're keeping the current shop and adding the new shop, And so we'll do a shop 1, shop 2 tour. It's a great idea. As soon as everything's moved in, it's going to take us about 90 days, give or take, because we're also running 3-phase power to the shop for all our machines, but we'll get there. All right, well, let's talk about some more gear, and then we can take more questions in a minute. So, again, this may or may not intrigue everybody, but obviously we're fans of what used to happen 100 years ago with drums.
Yeah.
Something that we're passionate about. We love the manufacturing style, the simplicity, the design of vintage drums. And we've tried to take inspiration from those and then create modern versions of that. And so one such thing that we will be introducing coming out August 1st. So remember, these coming out Friday, the Featherweight series coming out July 1st, and then this new thing that I'm about to tell you about is coming out August 1st. This is the A&F Drum Co. Lowboy Hi-Hat Stand. Those of you who remember back in the day, all the hi-hat stands were really short and then low.
There was no hi-hat stand.
There was no hi-hat stand at first, right? And then it was a low stand, and it was just to keep time. And then, of course, they started playing it down here, and I can't do any of that, but I think it's awesome when you can. And then it gradually graduated to our current hi-hat stand that we have now. So after we made our new hi-hat stand, the folding stand, we figured we could take all those components and use them, customize a couple of other things around it, get rid of the tripod and make this Lowboy stand. And so the thing that we were testing the most on it to make sure is just stability. These little stands are tiny, but there is a way to make it stable. It took us a minute. We figured it out. As heavy as you want to play this thing, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But so for some people, I know I've shown this to a few of my friends, and immediately they're like, cool, I've always wanted a second hi-hat stand to put different things on.
Yeah.
So maybe a different set of hi-hats, maybe a tambourine or jingles or whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it's totally cool for that.
It can be used in conjunction with a regular hi-hat stand.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to play it as is, it's tons of fun too. I've been doing it a lot over the last few months. Let me give you a little bit of a tester on this thing. Lowboy hi-hat.
Steven got me fired up, so I'm good.
Oh,
now.
sweet.
I got
We got
messages.
questions.
Our boy Corey Strange says, awesome Lowboy. So he's excited about that.
Thanks,
I think
Corey.
everybody's going to get excited about this when they see it. Same aesthetic as everything that we're already doing.
Yep.
Badass footboard like we're doing on our hi-hat stand. Basically just and it's very stable, so there's no legs on it. So I think some people might be concerned about not seeing feet or legs, but that's a chunky floorboard basically that's rubberized underneath and gives you grip.
Yep.
There's enough, that metal's not heavy, but heavy duty enough to be stable and clearly isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, so one thing about all of our stands, right? And we talked about this when we introduced the stands. We don't use filler metal. So we get carbon steel sheets.
Right.
The sheets, and we made dies for every single component that we use to manufacture. And we stamp the metal right out with our die, right out of a sheet of metal. And then it gets cut and welded if it needs to, or screwed, or whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
And so this metal is solid.
Yeah.
So that base plate, although it's small,
Yeah.
is incredibly stable.
Yeah.
And again, it shocked, some of this stuff shocks us as much as it shocks most when they see it. But you really got to try it, and you really got to put it to the test, and you'll find, you'll really discover how amazing this stuff is, right?
Yeah.
Also, guys, if you don't know Corey,
Yeah, man.
everybody that has a piece of hardware from A&F got it in a beautiful box that has a hand-drawn picture of each stand. Well, that's Corey. That's Corey's art. Corey hand-drew every single one of our stands as it would sit in the box, and that became the artwork for our box. So
Yeah.
we got tremendous gratitude for Corey.
Yeah, dude.
And his
Thanks,
amazing
Corey.
talent. He's also an awesome drummer.
Yeah. Also, we got Aphex Triplet. In the future, do you have plans to produce another unconventional size, any other unconventional size products? I like your lineup of products that are out of the box, meaning I guess like
Sizes,
little
crazy
snare drums and stuff like that, and maybe even kind of talk about some of the stuff that we already make that everyone might not know.
Yeah, so if you don't know, being a completely handmade custom drum company means we can make any size of anything that you can imagine. We have a standard series of 6-inch snares,
Right.
all the way up to the biggest snare we've ever made, which I think is the biggest snare ever made, is a 28-inch snare, the gong snare. So 6 to 28. On bass drums, we can go as small as you want to go. We've got our pancake bass drums that are 1.5 by 10, as small as 10.
Yeah.
Right? And then we are actually currently working on the biggest bass drum ever made in the United States. We will be unveiling that in October.
I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't want to blow it.
I know. That's all I'm going to tell you. But it is the biggest bass drum ever made in the U.S. And we're super excited to make it and for where it's going and what it's going to do. It's just like all kinds of great Texas stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we'll go as deep as you want. We prefer thin, shallower drums. We can get a lot of great sound and definition out of those, as you can see here. So sky's the limit. I would say if you have an idea or something, email us.
Yeah.
And if we can do it, we'll do it.
Jeffrey Schiff was asking what's the name of the drum you're playing right now. I think he's referring to the aluminum.
Yeah, so this is our aluminum featherweight snare. It's a 4x14 8 lug. And this featherweight series we're going to be releasing July 1st. So be on the lookout for that.
And this is a color, but
Well, so this is the color.
okay.
There are some ideas we're messing with, and I don't want to. So when we are prototyping in the shop, we prototype for months and months and months before we ever collectively say, okay, this is something we believe in.
Right.
It's unique, it's different, but it's totally in line with what we do, and it's almost like people should expect us to do this. So we will. But right now, this is the Texas Orange Patina. And we are experimenting with potentially some other patina variations on hue and color, but nothing is solid yet.
Right. So yeah, that's gonna basically a series as you see it right now. The snare drum and the bass drum.
Yeah.
Anything else will be.
Rob specifically likes another color that he's hinting at, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get there because he likes it.
Yeah.
And that's really important. And so we're gonna get there.
Yeah. The future is wide open.
The future is yeah.
That's it for questions right now.
Okay.
So we can.
So we had the Wood Rude Boys. We had the Maple Club and the Teak. We had the Featherweight series, which we just told you about. And then we told you about our cool Lowboy. By the way, if nobody asked, but just in case, because I know this will continue to play on the YouTube, the hi-hats that I'm using on my Lowboy here are the 14-inch, 13 or 14? Those are 13-inch Bell brass hats. So we get sheets of our brass that we use for our drums, and we send them to Ray Byrne. Ray is our cymbal making partner.
Yeah.
Ray has fielded all of my crazy calls and emails over the years of, hey man, I want to make a square cymbal crash and I want it to be 30 inches. Or I want to make a, North Star with 7 sides and like all this. So he's the guy, and I love him for that. Well, one of the first things we did with Ray was I wanted to make hi-hats out of our brass. So we flew to Chicago. He was working in a garage on this church property, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And he just sits there and hammers and does his thing, and it's amazing.
In the chicken coop out
In the
back.
chicken coop out back. There's video on Instagram somewhere about that.
Yeah.
And so we made these hats, and they're wonky. They look like they got run over in some ways, but that's part of the whole thing. They're not supposed to come to a complete close, airtight.
Right.
Because then that becomes a really tight sound. They're supposed to sound like this. Kind of like 2 trash can lids, but a little warmer.
Yeah. And it's brass.
It's brass.
So,
it's our brass.
And a lot of people don't realize, most likely your current cymbals are, not brass.
They're bronze.
Yeah, it's a mixture. Sometimes there's some copper, there's some tin, there's some brass, bronze.
The good cymbals are made from Turkish bronze.
Right.
Hands down, that's the best bronze. And that's what we make all of our square and our North Star, all that stuff is made from Turkish bronze. This is different. It's supposed to be wonky and trashy, and it will continue to patina and warp and do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it's designed to do.
And if you want to check out cymbals on our website, you've got somewhere in the oddities tab, and then the rest will be in the cymbals tab. So that there are specific pages on our website dedicated to the cymbals.
Yeah, and there's usually pictures and videos, so you can hear kind of everything there.
Yeah. This might be a good transition. Well, someone did say, of course, Ray. Thanks for being there, Ray.
What's up, Ray?
Ray Byrne's there. So glad I get to make crazy stuff for you guys.
Dude, we love you, man.
We're glad we have you. I'm going to come back to this other statement. Jeff Schiff also is asking, can I use that Lowboy Hi-Hat Stand with a Cajon? What's the height of it? With the height of it. Well, I think... So meaning like, yeah, he could, you were sitting on the Cajon, I'm assuming, is what he's saying. It's a perfect height for that, I think.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact height.
I have a Cajon at home, and it sits, let me see if I can adjust
probably a
my
little
seat.
lower than your throne, right?
It sits about right there.
Yeah.
So yes, I could totally do that.
Totally.
Yep.
It's probably just a little over a foot off the ground, I guess, if I had to guess.
The hats sit at about 16 inches from the bottom of the, and the rod, I think the total
height.
Let me pull it up. Hang on. What's your ears? My sound guy's like, dude, you just moved the mic. Sorry, Tyler. Hey, by the way, Tyler Merriman on audio, and I got Stephen Gunther. I just met.
Cruz Garcia.
But what's his last name? Garcia. And Cruz Garcia are filming. So big shout out and thanks to you guys. These guys really are miracle workers for what they do in such a little time.
Yeah, man.
So this is what it looks like right here. And it's very quick. Goes
easy to
folds
fold up.
Yep. That's the base plate, which is solid carbon steel also with rubber on the bottoms. So just like our hi-hat stand.
Heel plate and base plate, basically,
Yep.
are rubberized underneath.
Yep.
And it has spurs, too.
And so from here to your bottom, say your top hat is about 16 inches. And I'd say from here to here, I believe is 24, roughly, 2 feet. So it's a little guy, but it's sturdy.
Spencer Lawrence, he said, not a question, but, and I know we kind of talked about addressing this stuff. He said he just wanted to say that how impressed he was with our PR update, our statement earlier this year regarding price increases and exactly, the reasons that occurred. And he appreciates the authenticity and transparency of the brand.
Man, we appreciate you guys, and we do that because we appreciate you so much. I mean, if you think about this company, right, it's 6 years old, and it launched...
Very new. I think a lot of people think it's like
very new.
We've been around forever, but...
Very new. I mean, we're probably one of the youngest drum companies
out there.
And to think about how this came about, that this was essentially me and a friend making a drum for me that I was excited about, and that was it. It was a vanity project for fun.
Yeah.
And, people's excitement and encouragement and eventually demand is what led us to making this a company. And we take that with great responsibility. We didn't go out and plan and develop a marketing strategy, a business plan, and go, this is how this company is going to be profitable. As a matter of fact, I think if we would have done that first, we wouldn't have gone the route we did.
Yeah.
We do, and that's the thing. This is what I was saying earlier when we started, how amidst the chaos, amidst all the struggle and the delays, it forced us to grow in different directions, right? And also forced us to realize and value what it is that we do, and that thing that I'm talking about is being able to manufacture here. Mm-hmm. So we were having problems getting materials because everybody was getting the materials here now that they used to get from overseas.
Sure.
Right? So normally when we're buying our metal or our wood, we're getting it all from the US. Mm-hmm. And since that's an expensive way to do it, most people didn't bother with that. They would get it all from overseas, right? It was cheaper. But once shipping was frozen, everybody went to, technically we're like, that's our supply. Yeah. It's not, right? But it's what the US had. And so that became more scarce and more expensive because it was higher in demand. Mm-hmm. And being a small drum company kind of puts us at the bottom of that totem pole.
Because I'm sure there's like builders and machineries and, all different industries using the same materials that we're just using to make some drums with.
Yeah, and then the other side of it was, realizing how important solid manufacturing is. Because now, try and get parts for your washing machine or your oven that's broken or your sink that it's almost impossible. Yeah. So if you've got stuff that's not made really well to last, trying to get parts for it is really difficult. So it's like, so again, coming back to making our own stuff in-house, something breaks, which we know things will break, like clips break probably more than anything else.
Which is all covered under warranty.
It's all covered under warranty. It's not frequent. Right. But if anything breaks, it's clips, because we're tightening and we're
cranking them, we're hitting them with sticks.
That's all right. And then we knew with our stands, wherever there's teeth are, we haven't had any issues yet, but over time it will. Mm-hmm. Teeth strip over time, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Yeah. So we made those aluminum strips that slip right in, so you won't have to replace the whole stand.
Yeah, the washers are sold separately. The wing nuts, Y nuts, felts, pretty much anything that could go awry. If you lose a sleeve, all that kind of stuff is replaceable, or you can stock up on it, and they're very affordable. All that stuff's on our website too.
So we've got you guys on our radar whenever we're doing this stuff. It's like, how do we make their lives easier, and how do we make their dollar go further, right? Because I in a lot of ways, I've been you guys. I've been on the road. I've been in a van. I've been in a truck. I've been on big stages and small stages and lugged my stuff around. And so I'm always thinking, man, what are some things that I wish were just better or easier? Or, I'll spend the money, but will it last longer? Yes. Yeah, I'll spend the money, but can I call someone and can get it fixed, So thank you for recognizing that. We are keeping you guys at the forefront of everything that we do.
Yeah, I think the transparency is important, and I think not everyone's talking about it. So I think that's probably not a good thing necessarily. I think more people should probably address the issues instead of just canceling your order or just saying, well, sorry, you got to wait, and I think that's important. communication is key. Like Ramy said, though, we are a really small company. We are a new company, so I wish we had the ability to communicate more with every single dealer, every single customer, as much as we would like to. But I think we're getting there too. We're getting to that place as well. Jeffrey had one more question about the Lowboy, and I think we have some of the answer. I can tell you now. I know he asked about pricing. We don't have that yet, but but when can we see the product be released and available?
Good question. So the Lowboy, I'll start with the latest first. The Lowboy will come out August 1st. Okay. And we'll be posting a lot about it on social media, and pricing will be comparable to the rest of our hardware. The Featherweight series, July 1st, and the Featherweight series is going to fall in line with our aluminum pricing, slightly less expensive than the aluminum pricing, which is really one of our most affordable lines. Yeah. But it's because we're using aluminum lugs and tubes, not brass. Brass is very, very expensive, guys. Right. And it's gone skyrocket high. And so this is our approach to trying to solve that problem a little bit. Yeah. Right.
And I think that's an awesome thing to point out too, is it's the same exact design, the way we design our brass lugs, our brass tubes.
Yeah, no different.
It's just solid aluminum as opposed to solid brass. So hence the name Featherweight, because it is just super light.
Yeah, and I will tell you, it's not as easy as just getting, hey, let's go make aluminum drums. We quickly realized with metal, way back with brass, that there's hundreds of different kinds of brass.
Right, true.
Fillers and different things go into this metal, and so you really got to test it all. And we discovered that there's all kinds of different aluminum. Right. And some of it's hard, some of it's soft, some of it's heavy, some of it's really light. And some of it's light doesn't mean that it's soft. Yeah. So you like all those things that you think in your mind.
Well, that's another important thing to point out is I think a lot of people, when they say nickel plated brass or nickel over brass, there's a lot of companies that make a lot of drums called black nickel over brass or nickel over brass. But that brass, depending on where it comes from, is not always the same brass or the same quality or going to give you sonically the thing that you think it's going to give you, because that's why we're, like you said, we're very picky about the materials we choose, and the type of brass we use is definitely the upper echelon of the quality of brass.
Yeah, guys, you look around at really like boutique builders, you look at Rondinette, you look at AK, like, those guys are all using great materials, and that's why the price is comparable to what we're doing. Yeah. Like if you use great materials and you really spend the time making something, it costs money. It's expensive to do. Yeah. So if you're getting something cheaper, it's probably not being made that same way. Nothing against it. Just know you can't always compare like apples to oranges. It's a different thing. So, but yeah, with aluminum, this series will be out July 1st. It'll be slightly under our current aluminum pricing. And then the Rude Boy series, that's coming out Friday. And we do have prices for those, right, Rob? Yes. What are the prices on?
Yeah, let me pull that open real quick.
But yeah, those are coming out Friday. Really excited about those. We know a bunch of dealers have already pre-purchased some. So we've made a big batch of, I think, about 40 or 45 snares collectively.
Almost 50, but
almost 50 for this first launch of it, and so they should be hitting stores.
Yeah, and we're going to let you guys know as we do the marketing who those dealers are that are on board with that launch. But the 3x12 maple is going to sell at $675.
$675.
The 3x12 whiskey maple, which is not pictured here, it's basically the same drum, but in the whiskey,
smaller one.
That finish.
Right.
That's
teak.
Yeah, that's going to be $725.
And that's a limited series.
The one that, let's see here, then this is the 13 whiskey maple is going to be $800 for the whiskey. The 3x13 maple, $760. Yeah. I got to get over to the teak one here real quick. Let me get that. Teak.
Oh, that's the I see.
Yeah, that's the only one I didn't have on this
Rob,
list.
that brings up a good point. We do offer these maples in whiskey as well. But this limited series, that's a teak shell with the internal throw off. again, you can customize these as you go, but this limited one is, you know, as it's set.
$9.75.
$9.75 for the limited 3x13 teak whiskey.
Yeah.
Rude Boy.
That includes the cost of the internal throw off as
Right.
well. So that's why it's a little bit more.
Yeah.
Now that just talking about the internal throw off, you can add that to basically any snare drum we make too.
Any snare drum, any drum we make.
Yeah,
We've put it on kits. We've put it on everything.
Right. Toms.
They're really fun. It just adds a variation. Some, like we've got 2 drums in Hamilton, in New York, in the Broadway show.
The Broadway show, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a 16x16 snare with 4 internals and an 8x14, and both of these are nickel over brass, and an 8x14 with 3 internals.
Yeah.
And he loves them. Because it sounds like there's 3 or 4 drummers playing at the same time.
Yeah, it adds that, and I like that it. Some people might wonder, what does that do, and what does 2 and 3 internals do? What I like about the internal throw-off is it adds a little bit of muffling of the top head, or not muffling, but dampening.
Dampening.
And control, but added sensitivity, if anything. And then the more internal throw-offs that you have, the more options that you have as far as sonically what that drum can do and the voices that you can get out of that drum. So it's like having 2 and 3 different snare drums.
Yep.
And you can have your main throw-off completely disengaged, and then you can get different sounds out of adding your internals on and off, and then incorporating your main throw-off and just having a whole nother added level.
Yeah, and if you're just joining us, or if you joined us after we tested this, you can go back, after this is done, you can go back to the beginning of the video, and I did that with this. I tried all 3 configurations with the internal on the top and the bottom, and then the snares on. You can check it out. So yeah, those are the rollout dates. Prices on Rude Boys. There's one other thing that we are rolling out that is also going to be, the snares will be July 1st, the kits will be August 1st, and that's the Julep over here.
Yeah.
The Julep, we haven't shot this yet with photos, but we're going to get close up for you in a minute. This is a all maple shell.
As opposed to the
Maple
maple
poplar,
poplar.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the first all maple ply shell that we've made. And it's got the whiskey maple hoops with the white stripe. This is a new color. This is julep, named after the mint julep. It was a very popular drink, especially in the 30s. And so
We just had the Kentucky Derby just passed.
Right. You know, and the julep was always a celebratory drink, so we wanted to create a festive color combination with drum that celebrated that. This is a 6.5 by 14. Is that right?
Yeah.
By 14. It's got brass lugs and tubes that are treated, and then it's got the it's all raw brass hardware on it, and like I said, the whiskey maple hoops. They're Haida hoops with the white stripe and the Jubilee color, or the julep color. Let me play it a little bit. It's got such a honk to it. Anyway, it's a lot darker than, you know, the aluminum. I'll go back to back just so you can kind of hear a variation. Now, given this isn't 6.5 and this is a 4.
And the wood hoops are going to make a difference.
And the wood hoops are going to make a difference, yeah. But listen to that, just how woody it sounds comparatively.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun. It's been a while since I sat and just played.
And the sonic differences kind of just show that there really is something for everyone.
Yes.
You know, and I don't know if every style of drummer necessarily is going to lean towards A&F mainly because of aesthetics, but I think sonically, and especially the more metals and things that we experiment with and dive into, you know, you can lay into everything that we make, and also the versatility of the aluminum and especially like maple is just, you know, you can't really measure it. It's whatever you decide to do with it, and I think that's what's great is you got the bite and the presence, if that's what you're looking for with the aluminum stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, we're not showing that here, but like our steel snares are quickly becoming some of the more popular drums, and guys are using them in studios, and that was kind of a faux pas for years, using a steel snare drum in a recording studio. You know, it's usually always brass or wood or, you know, or stuff like that. So I think that's good to hear, and it's exciting to hear.
Yeah, I think that was one of the, you guys know, if you don't know who Mike Johnston is, really, really great educator, just passionate guy about his creativity, his art form, his students. Like, he has so much love for his students. I love what he does, and he's always testing things.
Yeah.
And I remember when we had he had gotten some drums from us, and I really thought he was going to like the brass or the copper, but man, he just championed that steel drum. I think it made his top 3 snares.
Yeah.
And it's been great just to see people kind of rediscover metals that they thought, oh, well, that can't sound as good as brass. Well, it just sounds different.
Yeah.
And I will say, you know, we always encourage, I mean, our motto, right, our drum motto is play what you love. Right. So if you love what we do, great. If you love other things, great. Just play what you love. It's supposed to be a passion around something you enjoy. So hopefully you get that from us. We never want to sway you one way or another. You know, we make the stuff that we love and hope that you enjoy. But definitely play what you love. It's really important.
Couple comments. TX music drummer, got to be a Texas boy. I'm impressed with how sturdy the Lowboy is. We briefly kind of touched on that.
Yeah.
Especially since it doesn't have tripod legs.
Yep.
I'm wondering if it would be as sturdy on your normal hi-hat stand.
Oh, doing it well, that's where we did test that. It's a great question because we're all about being minimalist here.
Right.
But the height of the hi-hat stand will not allow it to be sturdy like that.
Yeah.
What really makes this work is how low it is.
It's so low to the ground.
Yeah.
And you have all that weight at the bottom. And, you know, I think you'll be impressed. The cool thing about our hi-hat stand, even though it has...
You can grab it. I put it there for you.
Yeah. Even though it has a vintage vibe to it and a very traditional tripod base, it still will move out of the way just like a contemporary hi-hat stand will. If you're a double bass pedal guy, or you wanted to throw a Lowboy in close, or, you know, a secondary snare drum or anything like that too. So it still has some of the features that you're looking for, I think.
And if you don't know about our hi-hat stand, it folds.
Right. Yeah.
Rob, pull the clutch off, turn it upside down, just so you can show them. So, so you don't have to. Well, you got to put it back on so it doesn't slide out too.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
The technique.
Do you want me to take this tube off?
Yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
yeah. All right, let me get this out of here.
But yeah, so you don't have to take the rod off. It just
When
folds
packing
right
it
on.
up, yeah.
Here, let me.
And then throw this back on here.
No, put that back.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, just like you're packing it up for the thing.
Right.
For your bag.
So this is what, like Ramy was saying, where it folds. Let me pull this forward here a little bit. There we go. And then it's got a little.
Yep.
So
and
that
usually I
folds
just keep the other part on it.
keep the tube on it.
And then
yeah,
put
yeah,
the
yeah.
clutch on it. It holds it all together.
Yep, it'll keep it all.
So that you never have to lose parts.
And when you said upside down, you meant like this, right? Go on.
No, watch.
Just regular.
Oh, I can't walk over there because I got the cable.
I know
put
what you mean.
If you just set it up just like you got off a gig.
Yep, you just
I
pop
usually
it
pull
up.
I pull the cymbals off.
Yep.
And then I put the
Bam.
clutch back on, and it holds that in place.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Yep. And actually, if I want to keep this on here, I can just...
Rob hasn't toured with his hi-hat stand yet.
Nope,
I can
sadly
tell.
not. Haven't even played a bar since COVID. There we go.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
So now put it back.
And
so
then
you can see
legs. Yeah, and then now...
Yeah, there you go.
Boom, boom. And slide down. And you're back in business.
Yeah, so...
And you don't
that's
have to
what I
take your
normally
pull
do.
rod out. That's most likely where your pull rod gets damaged, is in your hardware case.
Yep.
So if you can protect that, then that's a lifesaver right there.
By the way, we have hardware in stock. So check with your local dealers. If you don't have a local dealer that carries A&F, just hit us up directly. We'll take care of you either way. We want to make sure you get what you want. But we've got hi-hat stands, we've got cymbal stands, snare stands. We just got a huge shipment in.
Yeah.
And they do go fast. Like the last 3 batches we've made have gone within 30 days. So
Yeah.
please, if you want it, get on it. Don't wait.
Yeah, especially hi-hat stands. They took a while, but we have them, and they're, I think drummers were a little nutty about having everything match, and so now is the opportunity.
That's
if you
me.
want to, yeah, I mean myself too. If you want a full set of hardware, now is the opportunity because we have everything in stock.
Yeah.
So otherwise, if you wait, you're gonna have to piecemeal it out, and it's gonna drive you nuts, like it drives me nuts.
And I know it'll come up. We are still working on our kick pedal. It is coming, I promise.
Yeah.
It's going to have a lot of the same components as our hi-hat stand and our Lowboy now. I've just got to fix a couple more things. There's one specific thing that I really wanted it to do, and I think we got it to do it. And I will share with you when we release it, and you'll understand why. And you'll go, oh, that's why that nutty guy waited for 3 years before he finished it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt in Chicago. What's up, buddy? How are you?
What's up, Matt?
Jamie Wallum, our
Jamie!
artist. It's funny how we have a love-hate relationship with our instruments. He says, I can't stand how much I love these drums. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Jeffrey also said he ordered a North Star. He's been waiting for a while. So
I hear you, man.
yeah, just order, maybe
Hang with us. Stay with us.
maybe shoot me an email, Jeffrey. I'm just rob@anfdrumco.com, and I'll check on that for you and see what's
So for the cymbals, I remember I was telling you guys earlier, if you weren't with us, we get anything that Ray's making for us, except for those brass hi-hats, are Turkish blanks. They're bronze from Turkey, which is the best bronze to get for cymbals.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about what COVID has done for shipping overseas, it has been a nightmare. And so if you're waiting on cymbals, 99% chance that's part of it. But just know that we are going to get it. We'll get the metal.
Yeah.
Ray will make it, and it will get to you.
Yeah.
But shoot us an email, and we'll follow up and find out where it's at.
Yeah, I'll check on that specifically. Creature Comfort. Wow, the mix sounds great. So
Thank you, Tyler.
Tyler's killing it. And that's a good thing to hear because we've had trouble with audio before. So
It's hard.
That's exciting.
It's hard to do this.
Not Tyler's fault.
No.
We blame the internet. Corey again says, by far my favorite hi-hat stand.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
And I agree. Me too. And it looks cool. I hate boring looking stuff. That's why I work for A&F. Hamel Star says, do you have a brass drum pedal in the works yet? Bass drum pedal. So.
Yeah.
Bass drum, yeah.
Yes.
I thought it said brass bass.
It's been in the works for 3 years. We started it before the hi-hat stand and the hardware. But I'm really dead set on this one feature that I want it to do. And I don't know why it's taken us so long, but we're almost there. I promise. I promise you'll like it.
What I usually tell people is there's a lot of really good bass drum pedals out there.
Yeah.
So you don't just show up and say, oh, I make a bass drum pedal too.
Yeah, that's not, if you know anything about us, that is not what we do.
Yeah.
We are looking for things that are needed. We're looking for voids in our community, in our industry.
Right.
And we try and fill those voids. If it's something that we're passionate about and we believe in, that's what we try and do. Hence the folding hi-hat stand.
Right.
And the hardware that is, it's vintage inspired, but it's really sturdy and it's really, solid metal. And it's things that we've wanted to see kind of develop in our industry. And so we're not making a kick pedal just to make something that matches our hardware.
Right.
I really wanted it to have this a bunch of features, but this one specific feature. And so we're almost there. And I know a lot of you will appreciate this feature when we bring it to market.
Yeah, it's going to be worth it. I mean, we're just systematically covering all the bases, and that's just one that's like, when it's right, it'll be right. And Matt, also good seeing you at the drum show too. For anyone that was at the Chicago Drum Show, it was a good hang. It was good to be back.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and if you haven't gone to the Chicago Drum Show, I know it's not convenient for everyone, but it's probably still the premier vintage and custom drum show out there, and there's great educators involved. There's giveaways, and there's always the oldest things you can find. I mean, there's drums over 100 years old that you'll find at the Chicago Drum Show, and there's also like the newest, coolest thing sometimes too. And we always try to be a part of that when we can. So it was really good to be back.
Yeah, the really special thing about that show for us also is it is the first drum show we ever did.
That's right.
We launched a company May 1st, 2016. We were at the show 2 weeks or 3 weeks later of that same year. And we met some really cool people. It was kind of a funny story too, because one of my partners went to the wrong airport. And so we landed on Saturday, which we should have been there Friday. We didn't know. Landed on Saturday. We get to the show at 1 o'clock. It's been open for 3 hours. And we get met with like a handful of awesome people who are like, hey, we've been waiting to see this gear. We'll help you carry stuff in. So they helped us carry stuff in. So, these are attendees, people just hanging out.
Right.
Helped us set up.
Yeah.
And it was just one of the most community embracing moments of our new little company. So we got a lot of love for Chicago. So, hey, listen, guys, we're winding down. I don't want to take too much more of your time, but did you have anything?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Adam Stone just said, beautiful snares, and hey, Ramy, love what you guys do. It's gorgeous.
Thanks, brother. Really appreciate it. I want to close this with just a little bit of encouragement. It's really crazy, I know, for musicians right now. The ebb and flow of the last 3 years has been a nightmare for all creative people.
Yeah.
And so, guys, music inspires, period. It heals, like it has an immense amount of power that, a few of us can really fully embrace and understand. But if you trace the role that music has played in every up and down, moment in history, it's prominent. It's always at the forefront. And so what you guys do every single day, whether you're seeing the direct impact or not, is making a difference. It's impacting. Yeah. So never stop. Never stop playing your instruments, making music. It's really important for the health of our country and our planet. It really is. So as I watch stuff online and just kind of see the struggles and talk to friends and feel it ourselves, I always have to go back to, I know that what we're doing together collectively in art and music and film, just all forms of art, it's really powerful. And it will transform a lot of our difficult seasons into growth seasons, right? So keep doing what you're doing. And if we can help with that, great. Even better, but just don't stop. Don't stop, don't stop. And as long as you don't stop, we won't stop either.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again for joining us, A&F Live. I hope you enjoyed all the new things that we're releasing. And if you have any other questions or comments or concerns, you can pop them in to the YouTube feed. But also, this will live on our YouTube channel. So if you want to tell people to come back to it, check it out. If you want to email us, please do. We answer all emails. Instagram,
Facebook, we see all that stuff. So.
And if you're waiting for drums or cymbals or anything that's on order, be patient with us. We're gonna make it. We're gonna get it to you as fast as people can get us the materials.
Yeah.
We'll get stuff out. Yeah. And then lastly, be on the lookout for this massive, massive drum in October. I can't wait to share more about that. That's going to be some awesome stuff. So good to see everyone here. Good to hear everyone. And we will be back soon. We won't wait a year for the next A&F Live. We will be back soon. We're going to try to keep it monthly again. But thanks for hanging in, guys. Love you all, okay?
Thanks again, guys.